Myself, Kirk Franklin,
Wow.
Fred Hammond, the Clark sisters, Yolanda Adams, and Kiki Sheard. And, we just traveled the country.
Would you stop looking up to a celebrity you admire if you heard rumors about them? We often place these figures on a pedestal, seeing them as role models. They've built legacies that we hope reflect their lives and influence those around them. But what about Marvin Sapp, the well-known pastor and singer? What has happened recently with him and his family? How might this affect how we view him? Let's explore Marvin Sapp's story and what his son has revealed. Marvin's early life. Marvin Lewis Sapp was born on January 28, 1967, into a deeply religious family in Grand Rapids, Michigan. From a young age, his mother nurtured his passion for music, encouraging him to join the church choir. As a child, he watched his father sing in the church choir and was enamored and mesmerized by him. It's therefore not surprising that he began singing in church at age 4. "My father would start off singing low and soft, and then he would hit this falsetto, and the people would start screaming and falling out," Marvin said, but admitted he did not know that his proximity to the choir would lead him to a calling. Sapp shared that one day, while his father was singing, he stood beside him and started singing with him. According to his story, his father gave him the microphone, and he was in key, and the rest is history. Because of his father's obligations to the choir, his mother had to be the enforcer in their home and around the neighborhood. Raised and nurtured in a Christian environment, Marvin developed a deep love for singing, which set the stage for his future career in gospel. He would later break lifetime music records that the gospel industry had not seen in decades. However, like every teenager, especially one raised in a tough neighborhood, he faced challenges, which added to his pressure to stray from his faith and the values he had learned as a child. His grounding in the church and dedication to his faith gave him the strength to face these difficulties and remain true to his principles. Marvin became a student at the unaccredited Enon Bible College in Indianapolis, Indiana, focusing his studies on theology. However, when renowned gospel singer Fred Hammond invited him to sing with his group Commissioned in 1991, Marvin saw the opportunity to establish his name in the gospel musical community and hone his talents. He then left the Bible college to focus on his career. How did he become so famous? Keep watching to find out. Never would have made it. In 1996, Marvin Sapp began his solo journey as a contemporary gospel artist and has since released 7 albums. Every major artist can point to a career-defining moment that changes everything. For some, it could be concert dates, major streaming numbers, or life experiences. In Marvin's case, his song, Never Would Have Made It, shot him to stardom. This debuted on the 2007 album, Thirsty. Marvin said that before the release of this track, just when he got heavily into the music business, Melinda was the only person he trusted as his manager. Even though she was a college professor, she managed his career, negotiating contracts, dealing with lawyers, executive producing and editing videos, and whatever was necessary. This song recorded impressive chart success, which was never seen in the gospel music industry until then. It reached number 14 on the U.S. Billboard R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart, 82 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, and number 1 on the Billboard Hot Gospel Songs chart. The album Thirsty itself recorded a massive success, debuting at number 28 on the U.S. Billboard 200, number 4 on the U.S. Billboard Top R&B and Hip Hop Albums, and number 1 on the U.S. Billboard Top Gospel Albums. The album was later certified gold by the RIAA, recording a massive sale of over 500,000 copies, making it Marvin's best-selling album of his solo career. Since then, it has sold over 712,000 copies. I did not shock anyone when Marvin won all 7 Gospel Stellar Awards he was nominated for in 2009. When asked about the song Never Would Have Made It and how the monumental success of his first album affected his next album release, Marvin claimed he felt more pressured than nervous. Never Would Have Made It is a phenomenon in gospel music history, and what happened with that record may never happen again, he admitted. His highly anticipated follow-up album, Here I Am, was recorded on October 16, 2009, at Resurrection Life Church in Wyoming, Michigan, and released on March 16, 2010. Despite achieving the record of all-time highest charting gospel artist in Billboard's 54 by selling approximately 76,000 copies in its first release week, and debuting at number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart, making the album the highest charting album ever, by a gospel artist, Marvin admitted that he wasn't trying to follow up the sales record of his first album, as much as he was trying to make sure that he did not alienate his base with his next project. The album's lead single, The Best in Me, co-written by the album's producers Aaron Lindsay and Israel Houghton, performed exceptionally, peaking at number 14 on the Billboard Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs chart, number 1 on Billboard's Gospel Songs chart, and number 20 on Billboard's Urban AC chart. In recognition and honor of his success, Marvin Sapp topped the list of winners at the 26th Annual Stellar Gospel Music Awards on January 15, 2011, confirming his status as the leading gospel music industry artist. However, despite his record victories, Marvin remained down to earth. He collaborated with other prominent gospel artists, such as Kirk Franklin, Donnie McClurkin, and Yolanda Adams, expanding his musical horizons and establishing him as a significant figure in the gospel music landscape. Marvin Sapp's rise to fame can be attributed to several factors, but it was mostly due to his remarkable talent, deep connection and resonance with his audience through his music, and steadfast faith, even amid the life struggles he later faced. His audience was easily drawn to his songs, sensing a deep personal connection to his lyrics. These messages of hope, resilience, and faith earned him a worldwide following. In an interview where he was asked what draws people to his artistry, Marvin admitted that he's built up a wonderful following and knows what they like to hear him sing. Regardless, he did not allow this to box in his sound and constantly worked to develop and stretch himself by adding different nuances to what he does, making the impact bigger. His life as a senior pastor at Lighthouse Full Life Center Church in his hometown contributed to his influence, enabling him to reach an extensive audience and touch lives through his sermons and songs. Unfortunately, Sapp went through a tragedy as his life came to the limelight. Keep watching to find out what happened. Melinda Sapp's painful exit. Like every human, Marvin Sapp's life was not without struggles. The heartbreaking loss of his wife, Melinda Sapp, in 2010, with whom he had 3 children, Marvin's second, Michaela and Madison, rocked him and fans across the globe. She battled courageously with stage 4 colon cancer and passed away shortly. Her death was a devastating blow to Marvin, impacting him deeply for the loss of not only his partner of 18 years, but his manager. He has often shared how challenging it has been to adjust to a life without her, both personally and professionally. Marvin shared that her demise made continuing his ministry and music career more challenging without her steadfast love and guidance. His struggles with diabetes have also affected his lifestyle. However, despite these challenges, Marvin tried to make the necessary sacrifices and adjustments to manage his health and continue his work, with his faith playing a critical role in his recovery. Sapp shared that he also suffered from epilepsy and eventually decided to forgo the medicine the doctor gave him to keep it at bay after years of seeing no cure or much improvement. Instead, he prayed for a recovery, and his prayers worked. He made this statement to emphasize further the miracles a strong faith and perseverance can bring a person. Life as a single dad. With his wife's painful exit, Marvin found himself forced into the role of being a single father to their 3 children. Before his wife's death, the couple had lived a fruitful life together, balancing their roles as parents with Marvin's demanding roles as a musician, pastor, and entrepreneur. But now, Marvin found himself overwhelmed with grief and uncertainty, unsure of how to execute her roles, navigate life without her, and move forward both in his personal and professional life. However, as the loving father he'd always been, Marvin chose to manage his emotions. He put his children's needs above his professional goals, continuing the lifelong work he had started with his wife, Melinda. He admitted that this was particularly challenging, as he had to figure things out without her while trying to heal. This shift in focus caused a hiatus in his professional life and was particularly challenging when raising his daughters. As a single dad, he had to embrace a more nurturing and maternal role, which was initially difficult to adjust to. He went through the difficulty of guiding his children through their emotional turmoil while paying close attention to their mental health and noticing all the things they struggled with but couldn't say. Having had the experience of a troubled youth, he could easily observe if his children desired to make decisions that were contrary to what he'd taught them, and could see the vital need for an open and honest conversation with them. Later, he found his stride in both his relationship with his daughters and his career, learning to integrate his music into his parenting by discussing his work with his children in a way he had previously shared with their mother. thus bringing them closer together as a family. To pay respects to his late wife and contribute to his community and children, Marvin got involved with the Grand Rapids Arlington Academy of Arts and Technology, an experience which made him feel a little closer to his late wife and gave him and his children something close and personal to bond over. In another interview, the hit gospel singer shared that his wife's last words seemingly transformed into his latest album, You Shall Live. This is his 10th album and offering to the body of Christ through music, and it is also his most transparent and vulnerable work to date. Sapp shared that the album was created for a multi-generational family to enjoy with traditional worship songs like Honor and Glory and Holy Spirit Overflow, bringing the older members of the family together and adding more edgier sounds like Yes You Can to bring the youths to their feet, integrating a spunk sound to the Christian gospel genre. Over time, fatherhood became a critical pillar in Marvin's journey through grief. He noted that learning to be present for his children was the greatest accomplishment he ever made. Also, Sapp believes that single black fathers deserve more recognition for their efforts, saying, I do think we don't get the credit that we deserve because most people assume that it is a rarity, while actually out there are a lot of men doing the same work as women. He also dropped an advice for men adjusting to single life. I think the best advice I can give them is to make sure that they understand that their responsibility first and foremost is to their child. You might have to put your life on hold for some time, but that investment is worth the sacrifice. He added that he had gotten questions from people about why he was still single. People are like, Marvin, why aren't you remarried? Why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? Because I made a decision that my children are far more important to me, and that after I get them to the place where they are productive and able to be successful on their own, I feel like I have the rest of my life to do what I need to do. And if that's a short stand of life that I have left, that's all right, because I decided that my babies are more important. Marvin Sapp is proof that no matter how many challenges there are on the way to a goal, it does not matter how hard you have to work to achieve it. Faith and resolve are often the most essential. Like any other human being, Marvin has not been spared controversies and crises such as scandals or personal tribulations during his fatigue-filled journey of being a single dad and his life as a gospel artist and a pastor. Keep watching as we delve into this. Marvin Sapp's scandal case with Dr. Patrick. The most significant and tragic controversy involving Marvin Sapp was the case of Dr. Talika Patrick in 2013. Dr. Patrick, a medical resident at Orgus Medical Center in Kalamazoo, Michigan, disappeared under mysterious circumstances, and the case quickly gained national attention. Marvin was resultantly drawn into the spotlight as a result of this situation. You might wonder why. What most people were not aware of at the time was that Dr. Patrick had developed an intense and profoundly disturbing obsession with Marvin Sapp, which quickly escalated from her stalking him on social media to physically invading his home, talking to his children in his absence, amongst many other disturbances. Reports indicated that she had a personal connection to him despite no evidence supporting this belief. When interviewed, Marvin disclosed that Dr. Patrick had sent him numerous messages and made several attempts to join his church, exhibiting behaviors that raised serious concerns and questions. Due to her disturbing fixation on Marvin Sapp, Dr. Talika Patrick used social media platforms like Twitter and YouTube to express her romantic intentions publicly. She hoped the gospel industry sensation would notice her and possibly return her feelings. Her posts even expressed her desire to have children with him, though only a few directly addressed him by name. In August 2013, Marvin Sapp expressed his frustrations about an unnamed woman who he claimed had been intruding his home and speaking to his 3 teenage children. Out of concern and fear for his and his children's safety, Marvin sought legal protection with the Kent County Circuit Court by filing a restraining order against Dr. Patrick. He cited her persistent and unwanted attempts to contact him and his children as the primary reason for the restraining order. During the case, Marvin Sapp's lawyer presented over 400 pages of correspondence from Patrick as evidence. After a ruling, the Kent County Circuit Court granted the protection order against Dr. Talika Patrick on September 17, 2013. However, shortly after that case, the situation took a darker turn when Dr. Talika Patrick's abandoned car was found with her personal belongings, including a Bible and some cash inside, but with no trace of her whereabouts. This discovery was after months of uncertainty and concern, as no one had heard or seen her anywhere. Eventually, Dr. Talika Patrick's body was found in a lake in Indiana, with no clear evidence of what had happened. Her death was ruled as accidental, But the circumstances surrounding her disappearance and her obsession with Marvin Sapp continued to attract intense media scrutiny and whispers. For Marvin Sapp, this was a deeply distressing ordeal, and as one whose name was tied to most media reports and news about her, he knew the controversies about her death would involve him. Even though he knew nothing about her disappearance or death, the extensive media coverage cast an unwelcome spotlight on him, adding more to the emotional ordeal and sympathy he was already facing. This situation led to widespread unwanted attention, adding significant stress to an already challenging time for him. He publicly expressed his sorrow for Dr. Patrick's family and reconfirmed that he had no personal relationship with her. In addition to the highly publicized Talika Patrick case, Marvin Sapp has yet again been a public victim of rumors. This time, the rumors center around him having romantic relationships outside his marriage. This gained traction after the Patrick incident. This led to doubts and suspicions in the people's minds and fans who have been involved in his career journey. In a nutshell, his career was badly affected. But then, despite the allegations, no concrete evidence supported the claims, and Marvin has consistently denied any wrongdoing. Marvin has worked hard to maintain his composure and public image despite these rumors. He has remained steadfast in his faith and upheld the image he has set for his children and those who looked up to him in society. His approach has generally been to respond with discretion, avoiding public confrontation or conversations about these allegations. He has found a balance and outlet through his music and ministry and let his work speak for itself amid the controversy, avoiding scandals. With the spread of allegations, accusations, and rumors surrounding him, the world has been itching to hear Marvin's side of the story and how he has remained seemingly unaffected despite these controversies. In an interview with DJ Vlad, who owns Vlad's TV, Marvin Sapp shared insights on how he has avoided scandals in his 30-year career. When asked about his ability to stay out of trouble, he candidly admitted that he is not perfect and elaborated on the struggles that he battled against daily. "I embrace the challenge even when it feels heavy. Not because I'm perfect, but because I'm purposed. To anyone else who feels the tension of favor and responsibility, be encouraged. The weight you carry is evidence of the greatness you're called to. Walk with intention, speak with wisdom, move with purpose. It's not always fair, but neither is favor," he shared. He emphasized his strong belief in the biblical principles imparted to him since childhood, saying, "To whom much is given, much more is expected." He showed how this has guided and helped him maintain a calm and coordinated mind amid these troubles. As he reflected on his success, Marvin noted, saying, "For me, because I have been successful, and because I have been able to accomplish things that most artists have not been able to accomplish, it has garnered me the ability to be in a different financial stratosphere than others. I just don't believe in doing stupid stuff that's going to affect your financial position," he said. Marvin reiterated that while financial stability is a factor, it is not the sole motivator for his behavior and composure amid these problems. He recognized how quickly one can fall from grace due to a single uncontrolled act or moment of irrational thought or behavior. "It's not all about money. That's not what keeps me in check," he stressed. "I have an honest reverence for the God of my salvation and in the fear I have of him." He went further to express his fear of destroying everything he's built in his statement, saying, "Along with that fear and reverence, I also believe that in ministry, you are one mistake away from destroying your entire ministerial career. So you have to make sure that you use levels of discretion as well as wisdom." Ultimately, he noted, with no pride but calmness and an air of humility, "I do very well financially, and I like my lifestyle, so I want to maintain it." His commitment to balancing his public image with his personal and professional responsibility has been key to his enduring success and reputation. Marvin expatiated on maintaining the lifestyle he had grown accustomed to, saying, "I have to live a certain type of life, not just in front of people, but that level of discipline needs to happen behind closed doors as well." The renowned gospel artist credited this approach with the reason he successfully stayed out of major drama. He acknowledged that although there has been some drama and challenges in his life, he has never succumbed to self-inflicting wounds to deal with his psychological and emotional pressures. Further, he reveals that his secret behind living an extremely disciplined life is also inspired by the people who follow him and his awareness of his influence on others. "I have people that look to me for spiritual guidance and direction, and people that look to me as an example and role model, and I take that very seriously," he shared. When asked about his drive and resilience, he answered that this is his cross to bear. He further emphasized that he believes the endgame is to ensure people still have hope in ministerial gifts, and by doing so, counteract negative stereotypes in the Christian community. He expressed his frustrations with how people in the Christian community are often depicted on television and in the media. He emphasizes that he tries to the best of his ability to live what he preaches and hopes people can emulate, and to him, that is everything. He then stated again that, "To whom much is given, much more is required." Marvin said that living out his values and maintaining his integrity is about personal success, fulfilling his responsibilities to his community and reflecting positively on them. He reiterated that he has to maintain an upright and authentic standard, particularly in his community. This will change the narrative and encourage the people who look up to him to persevere and remain authentic in the face of struggles and challenges they may face. Marvin Sapp's struggles. Marvin Sapp's journey, like any other, has not been without hurdles. Despite his deep commitment to the ministry and his faith, over the years, he has faced significant personal challenges, particularly with substance and alcohol abuse. In an interview with Page 6, Marvin reflected that his struggles with substance abuse and alcohol started in his early teens following his parents' divorce. Sapp expressed that his whole world seemed undone through his parents' divorce. "After my mother and father got divorced, I started smoking marijuana daily at the age of 12. I started drinking and taking pills at the age of 16, and at age 18 I snorted my first line of cocaine," he said. He noted that this period of his life was one marked by intense rebellion and personal struggle, which at the time left him conflicted with his choices and perseverance of faith. However, he admitted that these difficult times were pivotal in helping him shape his dedication to his faith, grooming him into the man he is today, and shaping his career later in his life. The singer's life story has been made into a movie and brought to the screen and never would have made it, The Marvin Sapp Story. During an interview before the movie's release, he shared his perspective on the movie's narrative, giving fans a deeper look into his personal life, his relationship with the church, and how he became a superstar in the gospel industry. "I've always sung gospel, but that was because my mother made us go to church," he said. "But just because we went to church did not mean the church was in us." He expressed his hope that the movie would convey a deeper message. "I want my story to show that just because somebody goes to church doesn't make them perfect. We are all flawed in some way. People need to see that because for some strange reason, when they think of Marvin Sapp, people think I walk around with a halo, but they don't know my story." Watching Marvin's life closely shows that being a man of God doesn't exempt one from life's battles. However, he has not let these battles keep him from turning his life around and becoming a Grammy-nominated star. Keep watching as we delve into his music legacy. Marvin's music legacy. Marvin's music touched the emotions of his fans. Speaking in an interview, he said, "I believe the reason why Never Would Have Made It was such a great song is that we have all had never would have made it moments. There's a connection there. The same thing happened with The Best in Me. We have found ourselves in places where people have written us off, said that we'd never make it, and said we were never anything," he further revealed. Marvin also stated that his music was a message everyone could relate to when he said, "All of us have that testimony in our lives. The fact is that many of us, across the board, not just in the urban community, have esteem issues because someone we've looked up to has shattered us with their words. Words can cause more pain in people's lives than any stick or stone. There are things I still struggle with even now that I heard when I was 8 years old. To overcome these challenges, Marvin focused on affirming truths. I have to tap into a few facts. 1. I am fearful and wonderfully made. 2. I am made in His image and His likeness. And 3. Man is the only one that looks at the outer appearance, but God looks at the heart. When I look at all of that, I understand that God only sees the best in me." People can relate to that. I think that's what hits home. It's relatable music. When people can relate to it, can sing with it, and it's not difficult, people can connect to it. Marvin Sapp has been blessed with honorary doctorate degrees from 2 institutions in appreciation of his contributions to music, ministry, and services to society. He was awarded the Doctor of Divinity degree by Anon Bible College in appreciation of his passion for letting people know about the love of God and the possibility of redemption. Friends International Christian University also gave him a Doctor of Ministry degree to appreciate his efforts to serve and empower others through his ministry. During his 25 years in music ministry, Marvin Sapp has touched and empowered many people and will remain a true inspirer and a caring evangelist. These honorary doctorate degrees indicate his hard work and determination to contribute positively to society. Despite the profound loss of his wife, Sapp has expressed his readiness to get married again. "I need to get married again. I'm a better man married than when I am single," he shared. "I've been single for the last 12 years. Marriage is great for me," he adds with humor. "My son just got engaged. My daughter has a boyfriend. My baby girl has a boyfriend too, and I don't want to be left out. I want to find somebody so we can all be together as a family." And right now, Marvin's son has shared that he is happy to have expanded the family through his children. He also spoke about his father's sacrifices as a single dad, thanking him for standing by them through the turbulent times. As we reflect on the profound impact of Marvin Sapp's experiences, we invite you to share your thoughts on how Sapp's journey has influenced your perspective on parenting and personal growth. What part of his story resonates most with you? Leave your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Before you go, click on the video displayed on your screen.